19 Nocturne Boulevard.
Nocturne Boulevard? Not far. When you hit Howard, hang a right. Howard meets Phillip at a weird kind of angle. Then you cross James and Poe. You can't miss Nocturne. It's just past the Automatic.
19 Nocturne Boulevard. Your address for suspenseful stories of the speculative, strange, and supernatural.
Tonight's episode is From an Amber Block, from the story by Tom Curry. Yes, this is 19 Nocturne Boulevard. Won't you step inside? Did you have any trouble finding it? What do you mean, what kind of a place is it? Why, it's a special annex at the Museum of Natural History, 1930. Can't you tell?
These should prove especially valuable and quite interesting, without a doubt, Marble, old man.
Have they all been brought in and set up, Professor?
Check the manifest. Betty, dear, do you have that?
Let's see.
Should be on the clipboard.
Ah, yes. Check. All checked off, present, and accounted for. 17 huge lumps of prehistoric amber.
I've told you time and again not to bandy such unspecific terms. Until we have them precisely dated, they are assumed to be common Cretaceous amber.
Yes, Professor. But there's nothing common about the size of these pieces. These are quite outside the standard deviation. When you see bits of amber worked into jewelry, especially the ones with insects preserved in them, you just can't even picture something on this scale.
It was tricky getting them out of the ground, too. Workmen seemed afraid. Didn't want to handle them for some silly reason.
Is that coal in the biggest one? That dark center?
I'm inclined to believe it will prove to be some sort of black liquid, possibly a pocket of colophony.
Which is?
An oil derived from amber. Professor Young.
Yes?
Even with the dark central void, I think that big one will turn out to be the largest single piece of amber ever mined.
Well, it appears to be several tons. It'll take some maneuvering to get a proper weight on it. Betty?
Yes, Professor?
Take this down. Stone 1. We'll call this large one Stone 1.
Noted.
Make a card up when you get a chance. The amber is clear and pure in appearance, probably mixed with lignite. Yellow-brown in color, irregular in shape. I think it is merely the thickness of the amber and not any imperfections in its refractive structure that make the central dark spot nothing more than a shadow.
It's like a small mountain.
Nonsense. Get some specific measurements. Height, width, through, say, 4 axes at 3 equidistant levels.
Yes, Professor.
If you need any help, Walter here is a dab hand with triangulation. You'll help, won't you, Marble?
Certainly, whatever you need. Miss Betty, I think we'd better begin by drawing a rough sketch of the block.
Well. What do you think of him?
Ignore him.
Father, you have to play nice. He funds the research and gets to play the philanthropic scientist.
You mean pseudoscientific philanthropist? Yes, of course. Mr. Leffler, all present and accounted for.
Oh, everybody's talking about that big one. Yeah. Orland's coming to see, along with plenty of others. Marble, did you happen to catch any stories the workmen down there were telling? I'm thinking I'll publish something on the expedition. That'd be a great little chapter if you've got anything at all.
I don't think it was actual stories, just general uneasiness and rumors of bad luck. Something about a creature swimming in a lake of ink. But the translator says the local dialect was pretty difficult.
Well, monster or not, let's hope there's something good in there, something that'll make all our effort worthwhile. Maybe I can come up with a few tales, just spice, Keep people interested and on the hook.
Superstition is curious, isn't it? How could anyone think that a fossil creature penned in such a cell for thousands and thousands of years could do any harm?
Superstition, by definition, is unreasonable. These amber blocks were mined in the Manchurian lignite deposits by Chinese coolies under Japanese masters. They believe anything over there. I remember working once with a crew of them that thought, What is it, Betty, dear?
Her face. It's completely white.
What is it that has put you in such a state?
I thought I saw something looking out. Eyes that stared at me.
You'd better sit down.
I suppose it was just Mr. Leffler's talk of monsters. There's certainly nothing there now.
Perhaps the Manchurian devil just likes beautiful young ladies, eh, Marshal? Well, be careful, dear. If it takes a notion to jump out at you, call for me and I'll return presently and exorcise it.
I suppose you think I'm being hysterical too, Mr. Marble?
No.
Come along, Betty. We must go home. There's a long, interesting day ahead of us tomorrow. And I want some time to read Orling's new work on matrices before we begin shipping at that block number 1.
I saw something, too. Could it have been just some refraction of the light?
I don't know. I thought I saw 2 terrible eyes glaring at me from the inky heart. But when Father laughed at me, I was ashamed and I thought it was just my fancy.
The center is liquid. I'm sure of it. Well, we'll find out soon enough once we get started.
Come along, Betty.
Be careful.
Betty, have you got these specimens on tray 15 itemized yet?
Yes, sir. 8 ants, 14 mosquitoes, 32 unidentified insect portions, and 3 bees.
Very good. We'll make a scientist out of you yet.
I'm sure I've got plenty to do as it is. You are being careful, aren't you?
That's the dozenth or so time you've inquired. What is it you expect to happen?
I don't know.
These stones are carefully anchored so they won't fall over and carefully protected by their canvas covers when we're not working on them.
I know, but do be careful.
You think the fabled Manchurian beast is going to break out of that stone like a chick out of an egg and run amok?
You said you planned to work your way into position to tap that dark central core.
Between our heaters and our chisels, we'll be through the central mass sometime tomorrow. It's getting much softer now the outside shell is pierced. Amber used to be called, still is in some cultures, the stone that burns.
Bernstein.
Since not only does it become malleable when heated, it can actually return to its original resinous state, a state in which it is, once again, flammable.
But for our purposes, it is soft and permeable, much easier to dig through than, say, granite or basalt. Pretty soon we'll find out whether we're right about it being liquid. We have to wait and make some preparations for catching it, just in case.
Catching what?
The liquid, of course. Some sort of large drainage pan should suffice.
And that is time.
Mr. Leffler wants to be here when the final breach is made. Should I call him and issue a formal invite?
Oh, don't bother me with him tonight. We can summon him quickly enough when we're nearly there. Otherwise, he'll spend all day hovering about and getting in the way.
Here's your coat, Miss Young.
Thanks. I think it must have been my imagination. I certainly didn't see anything odd today.
Nor did I. But I kept thinking I heard dull scrapings from inside the block. My brain tells me that I'm an imaginative fool, that nothing could be alive inside something that old. But just the same, I keep thinking about those eyes we thought we saw. Just shows how far the imagination will take one.
It's getting dark, Betty. Better not stay here in the shadows or the devil will get you. I wonder if it'll be Chinese or the up-to-date American.
Funny how such smart men can sometimes be so dense.
Oh?
Nothing. Good night.
Staying late this evening, are you?
Nah, we're calling it a night.
Good night, Miss Young. Sleep happy.
Night, Rooney.
Is there a problem, ma'am?
You'll be extra careful tonight, won't you?
Well, miss, I'm always careful. Nobody can get in to harm anything while old Rooney's about.
I don't mean that. I want you to be careful yourself when you're anywhere near this room tonight.
Why, miss? What is there to be wary of? Nothing but some funny-looking stones, far as I could see.
Of course. Looking at me.
Hello? Yes, speaking. Good morning, Smythe.
Smythe? At the museum?
My God, I can't believe it. Is he dead?
Dead? Who?
I'll be right down, yes. Dear, there's been a tragedy at the museum during the night. One of the guards has been killed, apparently.
Oh, no, not Rooney.
I don't know them by name. Possibly by burglars. And Smythe, who found him, wants me to come down and see if anything has been stolen. I must go at once. The body is in our laboratory. Where did I leave my overcoat?
Give me a minute to get dressed.
No need.
I'm going with you.
You can come along later, once we have things tidied up a bit.
I'll be all right. I promise you I will. And you know I'm the only one who can keep your notes straight.
I sent for an ambulance, Professor.
Of course, Smythe. Let me see the extent of the damage.
Yes, of course. The body is around on the left. Here. Sir?
I must check on the stones first, see that nothing has been damaged.
Of course, Rooney's not going anywhere.
Aha! Nothing seems missing.
Father, they're too large for someone to just run off with.
Why don't you go check the trays in the lock room? Make sure nothing portable has walked away.
Very well.
Smythe, the body?
Here.
Quite cold. Rigor mortis. He's been dead for some time, I'd say.
The lock on the room hasn't been tampered with and...
There's nothing we can do for him now. It looks as though the poor fellow was set upon and stabbed a number of times by an assailant or assailants, whomever they were.
Poor Rooney. He was just so jolly and red-faced, but now his skin is like chalk.
Rather shrunken, too, almost as if there's no blood left in his veins.
And that look on his face. He must have been terrified of whoever killed him.
There must have been several assassins. They beat him up frightfully. It would take more than one man to do such damage.
Poor man. Who will tell his grandchildren?
Yes. His ribs are crushed in. See this gash, Professor? That would be enough to cause death without any of the other wounds.
What are they looking at? A horrible blistered area under his arm? And a gash! Oh, that must be what killed him.
Bloodless, as I said. It's as if the blood has been pumped out of his body.
And yet, not much blood on the ground. I only see a couple of splotches, and those look like they're from more superficial cuts.
Maybe he was dragged here from another room. Perhaps the thieves were here to steal something in another part of the museum. Seems to me that men desperate enough to commit such a murder would not leave without trying to get what they came after.
Unless, of course, the killing of the guard frightened them away before they could get to their booty.
Here's that doctor you sent for, Professor.
Any idea when this happened, Smythe?
Well, he punched the clock in here at 2 a.m. I seen that.
And he never made it to his next punch?
Nope. And it's the last time he'll ever do his duty. Poor feller.
Curious odor. It smells like musk, but it's fetid. I suppose it's some chemical you use in your labs here.
I noticed that, too. Nothing I recognized. Marble? Where did he get to? Marble?
There are wavy black lines on the tiles, leading around back of the block.
You'll have to be more specific. Wavy lines, indeed.
Well, come and look, then. They go around the back and... Good God!
What? That dark hollow in the stone. It's completely open.
Marble, get me samples of that liquid before it all evaporates, would you? Didn't anyone think to check behind the block here?
Everyone was pretty distracted by Rooney.
The corpse? I suppose, but he's definitely in no further danger.
You're more interested in your black liquid than a man who lost his life?
It's not liquid at all. At least not anymore. It's nearly all dried, Professor Young. Dried into those strange wavy runnels and patterns.
It looks like black lacquer. And that smell. I see what the doctor meant.
Our chipping and hammering and the heat of the radiator causing it to expand must have forced out the sepia, or whatever it is. I had hoped that inside the liquid we'd discover a fossil of value.
Yes. Look here, Betty. I guess it's just you and me that might have seen this thing.
That hole in the amber, it's awful big. Who knows what might have been inside?
Could have been nothing at all.
Did that black stain look like it could have been enough to fill the entire cavity? I'm quite sure it was full.
I'll poke around a bit.
Be careful.
I will. Say, from here, does the giant block look like it's been moved?
Hold on. I have some sketches. Gosh, you're right. It shifted just a bit. But it's huge. Tons, Father said. Oh, it must have been the explosion or expulsion of all that liquid. That might very well have shifted it, mightn't it?
Maybe.
You're worried about those marks in the black gunk, aren't you?
They look like claw marks, not mere natural striations.
Professor Marble, please don't look any longer. Let's leave this terrible place. For the next day, anyway. Until we see what happens in the next 24 hours.
I must make a search. My brain calls me a fool, but just the same, I'm worried.
Do you really think?
I fear so.
Is there any further word on the murder?
Your father has dismissed it as a botched theft attempt.
I can't believe it. What about the blood?
The blood?
Father may be able to disregard it, but he's the one who pointed out that all of poor Rooney's blood was missing.
No. But it might be the work of a slick professional cracksman.
Were there any other signs of struggle? Anywhere? Or even some sign of a break-in? And how many of those would rather randomly kill a man than hide until the guard has gone along on his rounds? Tell me that.
I didn't say that was my opinion.
I'm going to try to take Father home, right after lunch, if he'll go. He is so stubborn. If you must stay, would you please carry a gun?
Very well. Not that I think it would be of much use, if I did find...
What's this I hear? A watchman killed in the night? Carelessness, man. Carelessness.
Betty, see if your father needs anything.
Good idea.
The authorities here are absurd. They hold priceless treasures, and yet they allow thieves to enter and wreak their will. You, Marble, what's all this mean?
We do the best we can, Mr. Leffler. It is unlikely that anyone would wish to, let alone be able to steal such a thing as that block of amber.
And why not? It cost me thousands of dollars.
It took the use of several large machines and a good deal of manpower to bring it into this room. Any attempt to similarly leave, well, it would hardly pass unnoticed.
Hogwash. I understand it's been broken into. There's pieces of my beautiful stone gone missing, mark my words.
It's time for lunch, Professor Marble.
You'll excuse us. Good.
Of all the things, I've contributed considerable sums to this museum. And to see my money treated as if it were no more valuable than the general run of arrowheads and potsherds,
Phew. Thanks for coming to my rescue.
He'll still be at it when we get back.
Yes, but I will have had some coffee. Poor Rooney. It's been preying on me, Betty. I feel more or less responsible in a way.
No. How could you have foreseen such a thing?
Those eyes. I shouldn't have discounted what we saw. I should have taken precautions. But I had no idea it could burst from its prison, so...
You will get a revolver before you search further. I'm going to, too. Smythe has one, and I know he'll lend it to me.
I believe Leffler has seen something, too. That's why he keeps talking about it being our fault. His talk about the devil inside the block was half in earnest.
He never seemed to take it any more seriously than Father does.
Perhaps he put it down to imagination, or even did not think this fossil could be dangerous.
I think Rooney could show them the error of their assumptions. There's some kind of commotion at the museum entrance.
Figures. We leave the building for just long enough to eat and something happens.
Stay back, folks. The museum is closed.
Let us through!
The museum is closed to the public, sir.
I am not the public. I insist you tell me what is going on.
Come inside then, both of you.
Something's happened up in the paleontological laboratories. Don't know just what, but orders come down to clear the rooms and not let anybody in but members of the staff, sir.
Blast!
Walter, please wait. Get yourself a gun.
All right. You.
Me?
Give me your gun. Betty, you need to stay here where it's safe.
I'm going with you.
As a senior staff member to a junior one, I order you to remain downstairs.
Very well. Good. I knew Smythe would come through for me. Marble may be a bright fellow, but anyone could see another gun will come in handy. What is it? Fred? Look at me. Tell me what's going on.
There was a black fog. I saw a red snake with legs.
A what? Oh no! You get on out of here.
But where are you going?
To make sure the professors are all right. What's that in the air? Whew. It smells like whatever came out of that stone. Walter! It just keeps getting thicker and thicker. I can barely see. Walter! Oh, the door. Where are you? If only the sun would come out. The skylights would cut through some of this murk. Walter?
Go back, Betty. Go back. Oh, Leffler. Oh.
Here you are.
I told you to get out of here.
Is he hurt?
He's dead. Just like Rooney, far as I can tell.
But he just twitched.
Something must have a hold on him.
Something?
Get out of here, Betty. Get to safety. I'll keep anything from following you. What are you doing?
Terrified or not, I'm not leaving you, Walter. But unless we get some air in here, that nasty haze will be our undoing.
Good girl. It's starting to clear a bit.
Where are you? I can see Leffler's body now, but Walter?
Stay clear of the amber.
Which one?
All of them. I think it is hiding among them somewhere.
How can we tell?
Betty, please go outside and call some of the men.
What are you looking at? Oh, that black smoke. That's not moving because of the open window.
It's coming out from under that canvas cover.
That's where it is.
The cover is too big to move all in one go by myself.
I can get...
Don't come any closer.
I'll grab the rope from here. Between us, we can flip it.
Well, it's definitely under there. All right. Now. All red with black patches, reptilian, but some sort of secondary nostrils on the... Aha! That's where the black miasma in the air comes from.
Is coming from. It's trying to blind us with its smoke screen.
Did you see where it went?
The other side of the block, I think. Oh, that smell.
It must have been right there, under the canvas all day.
Within arm's reach of the whole staff? How awful.
It came out only when there was comparative quiet to get its food.
We must kill it. We must.
Betty! Its eyes, they're hypnotizing her like a snake. Snap out of it, Betty. Betty!
Its mouth. That long, fanged tongue.
It has the thick body of an immense python and the clawed legs of a dinosaur.
And it's horrible.
But it also appears to have tentacles like some sort of terrestrial octopus.
Still horrible.
Betty, no one has ever had such an experience as this, seen such a sight and lived to tell of it. It must be ravenous with hunger, shut up in its amber cell inside the black fluid. I
have a feeling it's about to blow.
I think it's armored. I'll have to aim for the head.
Ah! It's coming! Come on!
It's in front of the door.
We can't get out of the window. We're too high up. Here. I counted, and you're just about out.
Good gravy, you're right. Ugh. Thanks. Now you get moving while I distract it. Hurry. Run for your life.
Oh, Walter! Oh, there must be something. Aha! I won't let you die, Walter.
No, over here, you beast! Keep looking at me!
And again!
Look out, Betty. The tail.
What? Oh!
No! Betty!
What? What happened? The monster!
Oh, my darling. Are you badly hurt?
No, I'm all right. But Walter did it.
He's fine, but the monster is hacked to pieces, and don't think I'm simply using unscientific terms.
When I saw you fall, I think I went a bit mad. And then the axe was in my hand, and
he utterly mutilated a marvelous and unique specimen.
Father, we could have been killed.
Well, there are still some remains to examine. They're taking the rest of it away now. I think we'll find it to be some sort of missing link between the dinosaurs and mosasaurs, thus the tentacles. It is surely unbelievable that such a creature should be found alive, but perhaps it can be explained.
Oh, to the devil with paleontology, Betty. You saved my life. Come out and let's get married.
Now, there
I love you.
Anecdotal reports of lizards and toads surviving for untold centuries pinned up in solid rock.
At least we're safe, Walter. And unique.
Evidently, this great reptile
How's that?
went through the same
It's not
sort of
every
thing.
woman who is helped by a living fossil
I
to
would
make
say
the man
there's
she
some
loves
great
realize he
evil of
loves
nature.
her.
That the reptile was caught in its prison of amber thousands and thousands of years ago. Through hibernation and perhaps preserving the drug, giving its life to this creature
Now that you know how to find us, don't be a stranger. We have enough of those already. Tonight's story, From an Amber Block, was adapted by Julie Hoverson from the story by Tom Curry, published in Astounding Stories, July 1930, and now passed into the public domain, as found on Project Gutenberg at gutenberg.org. In tonight's story, Professor Marble was Don Parris, Betty Young was Julia Carson, Professor Young was Charles Austin Miller, Andrew Leffler was Mark Olson, Rooney the guard was Reynaud LeBeouf, Smythe the janitor was Chuck Burke, the doctor was Mitchell Carson, Fred the workman was Marshal Latham. Additional voices by Reynaud LeBeouf and Julie Hoverson. Music for this episode was by Wynn Erickson and is used with permission. Cover art for this episode was by Charles Austin Miller. Sound and mastering was done by Julie Hoverson. Sound effects were found on soundsnap.com, sonomic.com, stockmusic.com, onesoundeffects.com, and also through The Footage Firm and Blastwave FX. The opening theme was by Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com. The opening credits featured Cole Hornaday, Reynaud LeBeouf, and Julie Hoverson. All persons, places, and events in this story were fictitious or used in a fictitious manner and are not meant to reflect any persons, places, or things, living, dead, or undead. Questions? Comments? We would love to hear from you. Contact us at 19nocturne@live.com, that's 19nocturne, or check out our website at www.19nocturneboulevard.com. Also, you can like us on Facebook. This presentation, as well as the scripts and characters therein, is copyright 2012 to Julie Hoverson and Reality Productions and is released under a Creative Commons 3.0 Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Spread the show around, but don't try to make money off it. If you want to try something like to reenact an episode, just drop us a line.
But perhaps it can be explained. It's relative to the... Oh, come on, please.
No more valuable than general run of arrowheads and potsherds. I swear, if I find anything going on, I'm gonna... Oh, some heads are gonna roll.
Very well. Very well. Very well.
Naturally, when it was released by the cutting away of... Julie, the way you write is crazy.